Hey guys, Alex from 7th Hour Films back again with JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Last time on JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, we had the G in Guts. I don't know why. But basically, the gang stopped off for some breakfast after betraying the boss, and there was a shark in Narancha's soup, and then Narancia couldn't speak properly because there was a stand on his tongue that was forcing him to say the opposite of what he wanted to say, and there was a whole thing until eventually Giorno figured out that something was attacking him, and then the shark got bigger and attacked Giorno, and that's pretty much where we left it. Yeah, I still don't know why it's called the G in Guts, though. That was weird. Anyway. But yeah, that was pretty much that. So, like always, the reaction is down in the description and in the pinned comment for your viewing pleasure. So let's go ahead and jump right into this episode of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Here we go. Okay, so I feel like it's time to, all right, Giorno, you know? It's time for everybody to realize how good Giorno is. Which, granted, without Fugo means that just leaves Abakio now. Although, we may actually... It's like when everybody went on a field trip with Zuko, you know? Maybe we'll get an episode with Trish, you know? That'd be cool. Oh, boy. I'm going to say heading to the airport is a bad idea. Joestars and planes. I mean, I'm surprised that boat hasn't sunk yet, because Joestars and boats do not mix, you know? But I guess the problem is Joseph and planes, and if you don't have Joseph, you should be in the clear. Hopefully. Alrighty. I'm glad, though, that, while, yes, you know, this was all, you know, it was possible because of Giorno's decision-making, I'm glad that this was a Narancia-specific episode, you know? And specifically, Narancia saving Giorno, you know? Because we did get Narancia versus Formaggio, and that was good. It was a little too long, but that was pretty good. But this one was saving Giorno specifically, you know? Which we don't get too much of that, you know? Like, you know, we'll have a bit of, like, you know... Like, Mista versus Ghiaccio was more of a one-on-one, and then he just forgot that Giorno was also there, you know? So I like this. I like that, you know, Narancia stepped up and was able to save him. So, yeah, that was a interesting thing. I like also that not only is everyone else, you know, the team is starting to, you know, really get behind Giorno, but I like that the boss immediately is like, okay, this Giorno guy, he is definitely a problem. Not just Bucciarati, you know, who is so ridiculously good and skilled, but also just the fact that, you know, Giorno being a healer is incredibly dangerous, and you know, the fact that, you know, he was able to track the boss through the brooch and everything, you know? And turn the brooch into the turtle, you know? So, yeah. Very, very interesting stuff. So, yeah. Their first idea was to take Giorno and stop him from breathing so that Narancia couldn't find him. Which, that is one thing I will say, is I understand the radar at long range. And I guess this is sort of a... this is very similar to Sheer Heart Attack, when I think about it, where they're both kind of automatic stands. You know, Lil Bomber, Narancia has a bit more control over that than Kira did over Sheer Heart Attack. But that is one thing where it's like, you know, if you're at close range, I would assume that the user can still pilot it, accordingly. And so I would assume if Narancia can see exactly what is in front of him, that he can just pilot and just shoot straight, The problem was all that heat coming in from the gas leak. No, it wasn't even the heat. It was just the gas specifically was messing with his radar. Therefore, even though he could see the stand right in front of him, he couldn't shoot it, Which is interesting. But yeah. So that's interesting. But again, you would think at least if you can see, you can pilot it accordingly, But it seems that the Little Bomber is definitely more of an automatic moving stand, at least in a similar manner to Sheer Heart Attack, which goes based on heat. Presumably, though, because we never saw it try to attack Kira, that it just wouldn't attack him. It doesn't attack its own user. So, I don't know. But yeah, so that's really interesting. But I also like that one way of tracking, Giorno figured out that a way to track, even though he's not breathing, is with the bullets left in him. And there's no water or anything that can deal with it because these are stand bullets specifically. And I like that. I that's actually really, really clever. And so he was able to follow where Giorno was. And props to Narancia for also figuring out that it only took, it could only jump about 3 meters, So yeah. And then, of course, the whole thing of like, oh, well, with this gas leak, you won't be able to shoot, you won't be able to aim and shoot. And it's like, you don't even need that. Just have it fly and then just use the propellers. That was funny. So yeah, that was really, really good. And then Mista lighting up the gas was unfortunate. But I like that, because yeah, the whole thing with the brooch. So I like that Giorno left behind the brooch specifically to. Now that means he was able to use Golden Wind that whole time. Now that's interesting, because you would think if a shark, if a stand shark is biting into you, you start getting some mudas going, But no, like he never did that, which was interesting. But he was able at least to use Golden Wind's power to make Narancia a new tongue. So he cut out his old tongue, and the brooch formed into a new one, which is interesting. And then that whole thing with the crowd was great. The whole thing with the crowd was great, and it's like, because yeah, it's like, they're the standard JoJo overconfident villains and everything, but I like, because yeah, Squalo, his whole thing is like, look, I've been shot. Like, he's taking it way more seriously than Tiziano was. So yeah, it's like, well, wait, what if he can track me by my breathing? It's like, well, there's other people that are running around down there, so we can blend in. And it's like, but the other thing is, it's not just heavy breathing, it's also erratic breathing, But yeah, he was able to use that, and it's like, oh, he's saying the opposite of, he can only say the opposite because of my stand. And it's like, no, he's saying the correct things, and it is riling you up, So I like that. And then yeah, you find 2 heavy breathers in such close proximity to each other, and then yeah, he was able to. And that's also the other thing too, is that yes, there's a giant crowd, but once you see, it's like, oh, they're like 5 meters over there. You look, and it's like, oh, they look like stand users, and it's like, because that's the other thing. It's like, oh, how can we find the stand user? It's like, well, they're very specifically designed, They look way different from any other Italian in this, square. So maybe that's how. But yeah. But that was good. And then Tiziano took the shots and died. Man, he died immediately, pretty much, or just after being shot. Meanwhile, I swear Formaggio took like 1,000 bullets and lived for so long, But yeah, but he took it just so that there would be enough blood for Crush to get through, which was interesting. And then, yeah, I love, though, that the whole idea was not even to shoot or anything. It's literally just, well, it was to shoot. It was to toss Squalo into the air and then shoot. And I love, too, because it's a bullet stand. It's shooting him, but I love that he had his own rush sound, And not only that, he had a rush, a stand rush cry, But then also that it ended exactly the same as Bucciarati, and he said, fly away, basically, with a crazy pose. And yeah, it's exactly, even though he didn't see that, even though he didn't see Bucciarati do that, but I like that he did that in a sort of homage to Bucciarati there. So that was really funny. I did like that. And then, yeah, just that moment of, just that respect towards Giorno, and it's like, oh, we only got through that because of your decision making, and it's like, oh, you've kind of become the leader now. And it's interesting because, with everything, you would think they would all still be with Bucciarati, and I don't want this to become a sort of like, Giorno versus Bucciarati. I don't think it will be, because that's stupid. But yeah, it's like, oh, you are our leader, basically, and it's like, I mean, he's kind of your MVP, He's your MVP, but yeah, But still, he is definitely proving his worth and showing how smart he is. And I mean, even Bucciarati said that when he was fighting the boss and he got sucked into the copied turtle's stand, That is like, oh, that man never ceases to amaze me, So yeah. Like, it is, they are all taking note of just how good Giorno is, And I like that, because I feel like, I don't know, and I don't even want to, like, put this on Josuke, but I feel like almost all, like, I feel like this is the first time since Jonathan that they've really been like, oh shit, this dude is fucking good, Like, Joseph a bit, but there was always that thing between, him and Caesar, a rivalry between him and Caesar. Jotaro, his whole thing, which is he just beats the shit out of people and that's it, But I mean, there was some of that. Josuke, I don't think, had too much of that going on. No, I'll tell you what it was, is that where everybody should have been like, oh man, that Josuke guy, he's so good. He's so, he's so smart and so good. Everybody was saying that about Koichi for some fucking reason, So yeah, but now everybody's applying that to Giorno, and that's good. I really like that. And yeah, honestly, and it makes sense. It makes sense that this is the first time since Jonathan that people have really taken notice of the JoJo, because yeah, this technically he is the son of Jonathan, though he is the son of Dio. It's from Jonathan's body, So yeah. Really, really great stuff. And now we're going to take a plane. We're going to take a plane to Sardinia. So we'll just have to see how that goes. But yeah, really, really good stuff. And I'm looking forward to the next episode. But that is basically it. With all that being said, I'm Alex from 7th Hour Films, and I will see you guys next time. Take care. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. There's a bunch of links on screen if you want to go click around any of those. There's a playlist for all of my JoJo's Bizarre Adventure reactions, as well as another video you can go click on if you want. There's also a subscribe button and a Patreon button on screen, as well as other links in the description if you want to go check out any of those. See you guys later.